Well, hello there, and welcome to the Trending Now podcast for a Friday, August the 11th, 2023. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Trending Now podcast. I'm Louie Butko, your host. As always, it has been a very busy week. Lots to get to in the week that was on Trending Now, which, of course, you can catch every Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. on CHCH and at chch.com. And if you missed the 7 o'clock show, well, don't worry. There's a repeat for you at 11:30. As mentioned, it has been a very busy week and no shortage of topics to get into, including some devastating wildfires in Maui in Hawaii. Taylor Swift tickets, were you one of the lucky ones who got a code? Were you waitlisted like the majority of the people that I've been talking to? That was a huge story this week. We'll get into that. There was a bombshell Auditor General report on the Greenbelt and the decisions made by the Ford government surrounding the reallocation of the Greenbelt. So, areas of the Greenbelt. So we'll get to all that coming up later on in today's show. As always, Laura Seven, the producer of Trending Now, will be by. Manisa Dana Ballin, she was the reporter this week. And Kelly Botello will be by as part of today's show. But let's start with a father taking his son to the movies. Probably shouldn't be breaking news in any sense. Probably shouldn't be news at all. But when you're the Prime Minister of Canada, it is. The Prime Minister, he donned some pink. And he took to Twitter with his eldest son going to the movies. Going to the Barbie movie like a lot of people have done, because it's made $1 billion. But yeah, he captioned the photo, "We're Team Barbie." It's him and his son, his 15-year-old son, wearing pink shirts in front of the sign, going to see Barbie. Well, a lot of people were triggered by this, seeing the Prime Minister and his son in pink shirts seeing the Barbie movie. So much so that Piers Morgan retweeted the photo, writing, "So glad I'm not Canadian." He wasn't the only one taking shots at Trudeau and his son. Many others joined in making outlandish allegations and spewing hate about Trudeau attending the movie with his son. But others did come to the PM's defense. One man writing, "This is a great pic of a dad going to a movie with his son." And the negative reaction to this seems pretty messed up, because it's two guys wearing pink and likes Barbie. And if that threatens a cohort of right-winger, it just seems ridiculous. If your masculinity is threatened by men wearing pink, you need to get a life. Those are some of the tweets that were defending Trudeau. Meanwhile, later in the week, he seemed to fire back, tweeting a picture of himself and his daughter, Ella, at the movies, seeing Oppenheimer, writing, "Balancing things out, Oppenheimer with Ella." Prime Minister goes to movies. That's how we start here on the Trending Now podcast. This wasn't really a big story, but I thought it was something I wanted to include here, because the company that made working from home possible for a lot of people during the pandemic is now sending their employees back to the office. Zoom is saying, get back to in-person. Yes, Zoom. For now, Zoom employees will only be required to be on site 2 days a week. And the company says its new hybrid approach applies to people who live near one of its workplaces. It says the structure is more effective for the company. And Zoom adds that they will continue to use its own platform for remote days, which I feel like it was weird that they had to add that. You would assume that Zoom uses Zoom. Either way, the announcement follows similar ones from Google, Amazon, and Salesforce. This is all despite pushback from employees, and it comes as Zoom faces waning demand that caused it to cut about 15% of its staff this year. Speaking of the internet, Meta is at it again. Yeah, last week we told you how Meta has blocked all news in Canada for Canadians. Doesn't matter if it is a international news Facebook page or Instagram page, CNN, for example, BBC. If you are in Canada and you go to search BBC or CHCH, you will not be able to find us. You'll get a little warning that says, due to Bill C-18, you can't get this. So it's a little weird, and it's making people angry, to say the least. And now Canadian news publishers and broadcasters are calling for a Competition Bureau investigation into Meta's news blocking. As mentioned, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram started blocking Canadian news content on its platforms in response to federal law, forcing it and Google to pay publishers for content they link to or repurpose. Now, Canada's Online News Act introduces a new bargaining framework intended to support news businesses secure fair compensation when their content is made available by dominant tech giants and generates economic gains. Some non-news organizations getting caught up in the mess too. Tech expert Amber Mack tweeted that her production studio website was temporarily blocked as well. Meanwhile, the Beaverton, which is a parody news website, is being blocked despite the fact that their information is literally fake news. Now, you might have seen them on Facebook, the Beaverton. They make little jokes here and there about, I'm just on their website here. Canadian tourists shocked to discover other countries don't put shitty carnivals next to their wonders of the world. I'm pretty sure that might be a shot at Niagara Falls. I don't know, but it's not real news, right? Canadian wins gold at World Police and Fire Games for 50-meter evidence plant. But they fired back and said, we're not news. Yet they are being blocked on Facebook. Google, meanwhile, taking a similar stance as Meta. They say, quote, "We have informed the government that we will have made the difficult decision that when the law takes effect, we will be removing links to Canadian news from our search, news, and discover products and will no longer be able to operate Google News Showcase in Canada." This, of course, a big problem for Canadians who are used to accessing news online. And this is just your friendly reminder that you can always get your news at chch.com, the CHCH Evening News at 6 and 11, Morning Live, and of course, trending now, 7 o'clock Monday to Friday. Also trending this week, Taylor Swift. Seems like she's literally trending all the time, always. But last week it was because she announced her tour dates. This week it was because tickets went on sale. And fans in Canada rightfully frustrated and worried that they might not get a chance to see their beloved pop star perform in Toronto. Now, it's her only tour stop in Canada, 6 shows, but it's still the only chance for fans to see her here. Some tickets went on sale on Wednesday, but many fans who registered for the pre-sale last week were left waiting to see if they'll make the cut. They were waitlisted, like I was. I admit, I registered for Taylor Swift tickets, and I was waitlisted. And most of the people, I'm pretty sure actually all of the people in our office here at CHCH who did register for tickets did not get them. Now, tickets for some of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour Toronto dates went on sale, and there's a lot of heartbreak among Swifties. And to discuss this, we bring in our reporter who was on the story this week. That was Manisha Danabalan talking Taylor Swift, talking to some fans who were lucky enough to get them, who were unlucky and were waitlisted. And Manisha, I got to ask you off the top, did you get your Taylor Swift tickets?
No,
I didn't. Get the code?
I didn't try.
What?
Because I like Taylor Swift, but I'm not that much of a fan, and I'd much rather just,
Okay, so as someone who wasn't a Taylor Swift fan putting this story together, you obviously reached out to people who were Swifties.
Yep.
Who did get tickets, people who didn't again. What was what were you thinking going into it? Were you thinking okay, these are going to be some pretty down-to-earth people? And I'm sure they were. I'm sure they're very nice people. But their dedication to Taylor Swift, were you expecting what you got?
These are huge fans. They were you could tell they're smiling and everything because they're super nice about it. But there's one girl that I spoke to and she was like, I'm just so heartbroken because she's gone to every single concert that she's ever done here.
Yeah.
So for her, it was really hard. And she had her relatives and everybody all trying to get a code too and nobody got it. And then I spoke to another person who got it and then a 15-year-old girl who got it and they were ecstatic. And I didn't it's nice to see that somebody means that much to you. But I also thought that they were going to be spending thousands, but it wasn't that bad. One of the girls, she said she only paid about $600 to $700.
What?
For a ticket.
For one?
For one ticket.
For one?
I think it's on the floor, though. I think it's on the floor. Yeah. Like, it was like 700-ish.
Like to your point, I think, what would I spend $600, $700 on? I don't think there's a concert or a sporting event. Like, and I'm a big sports guy. I just can't picture dropping $700 to go see a 3-hour show.
Okay, who's your favorite player or whatever?
The Leafs. Like, the Leafs are unaffordable. Like, I can't afford to go see the Leafs. That's just like Toronto Maple Leafs. Like,
What's the most you'd pay?
The most I'd pay, again, like $200 maybe for a ticket, and it'd have to be a good ticket. Like, I might pay $100 to get in the building, $75 to get in the building. But here's the thing, like, working in sports has kind of ruined events for me. Because, like, when you're working in sports and you're working an event or you're working a game, you get to go wherever you want. You get a pass. They feed you. Like, you're not drinking, so you're not buying the $15, $20 beers, but there's food. Like, it's just, and now it's like, what, you want to buy a ticket? Like, it's just a weird thing for me. Having worked in sports, now having to, like, buy tickets.
There's one person I would be willing to pay the most for, and that is a comedian.
Okay.
But that's, like, that, and even that's capped. Like, I wouldn't pay $600 to $700, no way. Like, I would only pay probably max, like, I'd be willing to pay, like, maybe like $250 to $300 for that.
What was it about what is it about Taylor Swift? Talking to the people you did, what was it? What was that one thing that made them a fan to this point where, it is not life or death, but it's pretty damn close of getting these tickets and not getting these tickets?
I think she's, like, connected with people. I think that's what it seems like. Because I think everyone feels like it's something else. Like, it's just, she's appealed to so many different, like, age groups and, like, with her music and stuff. And I think that's actually, and the people who want to go to this concert, most of them, well, like, some of them who are like diehard fans have been hearing her music since, like, decades ago.
Yeah.
And they just want to see her, and this is her Eras tour. So that was, like, the whole thing about it too, is that it's about all her eras and they want to be there.
I get it. Like, I get it. And I'm not saying, I'm not going to sit here and say I hate Taylor Swift or anything like that. The one thing is this concert is 16 months away.
I know, right? It's like not even a year. It's like more than a year away.
And I just checked StubHub. So this is StubHub tickets. If you want to get in, so the cheapest tickets to get in.
Ooh, can I guess right now?
Okay.
I think it's right now probably the cheapest, maybe. Ooh, but wait, okay.
Go for it. Take a guess.
I think the cheapest is like $1,000 right now.
Okay.
Or $1,500.
$1,282.
That was close.
So that is section 142B. So I mean, it's 142. So you're in the lower bowl, which is nice. You're in the outfield. Oh, so that's behind the stage. What? So that is an obstructed what?
So you can't even see her.
No. So you'll
be in the venue.
Yes. Oh my God.
$1,200 for that.
Just finding this out right now. So it is literally behind the stage. So the diamond is set up. You've been to the Rogers Center? You seen baseball?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay. So it's set up like as along the back outfield wall. So you would be behind that. $1,282.
Does that mean you get backstage passes too?
No. Unbelievable. I'm in shock.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy because a lot of the I don't know how some other sites got a hold of these tickets or whatever, but it's so much, and a lot of them were sometimes $2,000 too, and it's crazy.
$1,391 each.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you, because a lot of people, and I have talked to people, registered just for the opportunity to sell the tickets.
A lot of people, really?
I wouldn't say a lot of people, but 33 million people apparently, 31 million people apparently registered for these pre-sales. Is that what should they be doing something to prevent that? Should Ticketmaster be trying to stop that? Should Taylor Swift be trying to stop that?
It seemed like they were trying to prevent that from happening, and then it happened anyway. So I don't know. I still haven't heard back from Ticketmaster, so I have no clue.
Yeah.
But I think it's incredibly cruel to do that because like this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity for these people, and to try to take advantage of that is just it's just really mean. Like I get it, you're trying to make your money at the end of the day, you're trying to get a profit.
Just hustling.
I get it. I know. Yeah, it's hard. Like money's important. I get it, but like it's cruel.
So unrestricted. So the cheapest unrestricted view tickets, Section 539. Section 539.
How much is it?
$1,796 each.
Okay, better than what I thought. I thought it'd be $2,000.
What?
I thought it'd be $2,000. That's just how insane it is, right?
I cannot believe that. I cannot believe it. Apparently you had a 1 in 400 shot, which sounds a lot better.
How much were the Beyonce ticket?
Not that. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll ask my next guest, Laura Seven.
Okay, yeah.
You're working on the Greenbelt stuff today.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. I'm going to get into that. So what did you learn about it today? Anything exciting?
Well, I mean, it just seemed like Ford and Mr. Clark were just like kind of deflecting questions for the most part. There wasn't really it was just the same thing. There wasn't really anything new, and he's not backing down at the end of the day.
He is not. We're going to get into that. Manise, thanks for making the time. I know you're very busy today, as you always are on Friday, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Manise, stand up on, everybody. You're good to go. No problem. And speaking of that Greenbelt Auditor General report, a bombshell Ontario AG report says the Ford government's decision to open the protected Greenbelt to housing construction favored certain developers with ties to the housing ministry. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says he approved the decision to open up the protected Greenbelt lands to housing construction and that he takes full responsibility. It comes after the AG issued a report that said the province's decision to do so favored developers with connections to the housing minister's chief of staff. AG Bonnie Lishik says the Ontario government also failed to consider the environmental, agricultural, and financial risks. She called the brief 3-week process of determining which lands would be swapped out on the Greenbelt indefensible. Now, Ford owning up to the details laid out in the scathing report, saying he approved the decision to open up the Greenbelt and that he takes full responsibility, though he still stands behind his housing policy. The Ontario Integrity Commissioner says it is reviewing a request from the Premier's office to investigate a senior aide about his role in selecting which lands in the protected Greenbelt would be approved. Now, this was part of the recommendations to get the province to ask the Integrity Commissioner to determine if Housing Minister Steve Clark's Chief of Staff, Ryan Amato, acted contrary to the Public Service of Ontario Act. Now, Auditor General Bonnie Lishik says Amato told them that he received packages from 2 prominent developers at a conference dinner last September that included proposals to build homes on protected Greenbelt land owned by the developers. Now, Amato told the Auditor General he did not tell the developers that the province would open up the Greenbelt, but Lishik said the developers who had access to Amato at the dinner ended up with 92% of the land that was removed from the Greenbelt. And as Manisa just mentioned, Doug Ford, Steve Clark, not backing down, and she'll have more about that on tonight's episode of the Trending Now podcast. Of tonight's episode of Trending Now. Now to Hawaii, where shock and horror as locals try to comprehend the devastation on Maui. Videos posted online show the community of Lahaina reduced to ashes, only ruins and smoke left behind in the historic seaside town. Some people had to jump into the ocean to escape the flames. Maui County said late Wednesday that dozens of people have died and that the death toll could rise as rescuers search parts of the island that had been unreachable. It's the deadliest wildfire in the U.S. in recent years. U.S. President Joe Biden issuing a federal disaster declaration and promising to send whatever resources are needed as quickly as possible to Hawaii. And the federal declaration will provide grants for temporary housing and home repairs, as well as low-cost loans to help with uninsured property losses and other assistance. Now, Maui County officials are asking visitors to leave Lahaina and Maui as soon as possible, but tourists are struggling to get out as power has been knocked out in parts of the island. There's also no cell service, and even radio signals have been knocked out because of the fire. As of Wednesday night, 11,000 people had been evacuated from the island, while hundreds more slept at the airport. Now, parts of the Big Island also burning, most still not yet contained, as locals grapple with their new reality. And for more on this, we bring in the host of Trending Now, Kelly Botello. And Kelly, the pictures out of Hawaii, I mean, just devastating. Like, it's paradise.
Yeah, it was a beautiful, lush paradise. I mean, Hawaii for so many people is a bucket list vacation, right? Mm-hmm. Because of their beautiful environment. But seeing those images is shocking.
We're just talking about it. Just the wildfires is going to be the story. It's the story of the summer here in Canada. You know, first it was the smoke early on that was taking over. There was air quality problems. I mean, like, climate change is happening.
Yeah.
And it's right in front of us.
And it was Canada. Obviously, we still, still going on in some areas in Canada. And it was really bad here, the worst it's ever been. Mm. And then we saw it in Europe as well. Greece, a few other countries in Europe as well, battling wildfires, and now Hawaii. So obviously something is going on.
You would think.
Yeah. I mean, clearly this is a sign like, hey, you need to start paying attention to what we're doing and climate change.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the deadliest wildfire in recent years in the U.S. I believe at last count it was something like 56. Mm-hmm. They expect that to go up just because there is no cell phone service. We're seeing a lot of really dramatic posts. If you're there, can you try and contact, if you can find just really sad stuff there. Yeah. And especially for an island like that that's so out of the way. Like you said, it is a destination. It's something people save their whole lives.
It's a dream vacation for so many people. And I was listening to clips of survivors today. So heartbreaking. And, a lot of people had to jump in the water, in the ocean, to escape the flames. So it's incredible how fast it spread in Maui, and how taken by surprise the whole island was with these flames, because people didn't have time to escape. A lot of people were so caught off guard. I mean, imagine jumping into the ocean, and that's the only way you can save yourself.
It's fire or water.
Yeah.
Right. The Coast Guard was out trying to search and rescue for people who did jump in the water, and we have heard of people who drown.
Yeah.
Because of that. On a lighter note, to change gears here a little bit, Taylor Swift. We just figured out with Manisa.
Yeah.
The cheapest tickets obstructed are about $1,400.
Stop.
$1,282. From behind the stage. So,
is this resale tickets?
This is StubHub. Yeah, this is StubHub.
Oh, man.
$1,282 for the back of the stage.
For one ticket.
For one ticket.
Oh.
Is there anything? I mean, like, I need a new car. Like, I need a new car.
You could literally almost buy a car.
I can't even justify, like, buying a new car that I need because, like, I'm so cheap and frugal. Like, it's just like, yeah, no, my one car's still technically running.
Has one wheel.
It's got one wheel. It's a little wonky. I can imagine. Is there anything? Is there a show? Is there a show that you... Like a concert you can remember? You've never but like a concert that you went to that, like, not that you think would have been worth it, but as a fan you're like, oh, it's
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, you would never catch me spending that much money at a concert. And I get it. It's like, I feel like this whole Taylor Swift wave right now is like everyone wants to be part of what seems like such a monumentous, historic tour. Like, this is the biggest thing we've probably I've ever seen in my lifetime. I probably for you too. Like
Absolutely.
I don't, and it's, I know a lot of older people are like tisk, like this person and this person, and I get
were
it.
Selling out way before Taylor Swift.
Yeah, and I understand. Like, there's definitely. I'm not saying she's the best artist on the planet. I'm not saying that, but like, just the panic and the chaos and the energy like her tours are causing, like literally around the world. I've never seen anything like this.
Literally around the world, and I think the weird like. If I were to buy a ticket right now, and like that's the thing, like I'm on StubHub, like StubHub says like tickets sold an hour ago. So like thinking like, oh, these are just people who post them,
trying to make a buck.
Trying to make a buck. Like maybe they'll come down, but literally sold 1 hour ago. Section 145B, $1,611. So somebody out there.
Oh yeah.
In the last hour. Paid $3,200 for a show that is 16 months away.
Yeah, and I firmly believe that all those ridiculous priced tickets will sell because of just this craziness. But like you said, if you're sad that you didn't get Taylor Swift concert tickets, like you're going to be sad for a little while, but the show is so far away from now that you're going to have forgotten, and maybe by then it's not even going to be as big of a deal as it is now, Yeah. Like that's my only, I really do feel bad for the Taylor Swift fans who really wanted to go and couldn't get tickets, but just think like, it's over a year from now. Maybe you won't even care.
Well, a lot can happen. And, I mean, we've seen Justin Bieber cancel his tour. Celine Dion, battling her own health.
Madonna.
Shawn Mendes canceled his for mental health. I think one of the K-pop bands did the same thing. They there's a chance the show never happens.
And she's going to be on tour for like 2 years. She's going to be exhausted.
So here you go. Tickets sold 1 hour ago. Two tickets. This is ridiculous. 2 tickets in section 229L at $3,850 each.
That's not right. And you know what? It becomes a game of not whether you're a Taylor Swift fan, but whether you're a rich Taylor Swift fan.
Well, and I was reading the Toronto Star had kind of an analysis on this week about, is this good for the economy? And you can make the argument that, yeah, absolutely. Hotels are going to be full. People are spending money. It's 6 shows. That's 50,000. Like people are going to be in Toronto. But, that goes back to the key inflation rate, which keeps going up, which is at 5%. They raise the inflation.
Taylor Swift is to blame.
But like they raise the inflation rate so that people stop spending discretionary spending, which is the complete opposite of what a show like this does. So Taylor Swift is either ruining the economy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Taylor Swift.
Or she's saving the economy. We don't know. Well, maybe it's a topic we'll have to focus in on later on this week. Big plans for the weekend?
No.
That's good. Hey, no plans is always good plans, especially August. It's getting in that.
Chill.
You got to chill. You got to chill. Kelly, thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
All right, Kelly Patel, everybody. And my thanks to Kelly Patel for joining me today. And before we go, very pleased to be joined by the producer of Trending Now. It's Laura Sebin. And Laura, I wanted to bring you, I know you're a Blue Jays fan. You like the Blue Jays. I did a little pack for today's show on Trending Now about Bautista retiring as a Blue Jay, signing a 1-day contract.
Yeah.
I was getting goosebumps watching like those highlights of like 2000. Yeah.
I did. I will admit there were some tears formed in my eyes when I read that they were going to make him retire a Blue Jay. I was like, that's so nice.
So it's like Bautista weekend. Mm-hmm. So tomorrow they're giving away a bobblehead of his bat flip. They're putting him in the level of excellence.
Yeah.
Just the 11th person. There's some ownership. There's some managers. So I think he's the 8th player, I want to say, but the 11th person inducted into the level of excellence. Really turned around, like put the Blue Jays back on the map.
For sure. That was I probably got interested in the Blue Jays maybe like 2 or 3 years before the bat flip. Because my uncle, his company that he worked for, they get seasons tickets for clients to the Blue Jays game, and there's so many games, so they're not always going to get rid of them. So he would offer them to me and my sisters and my dad, and I went one day with my dad, and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. Like, I always thought baseball was really boring, but it's really fun when you are there. And so that kind of changed my perspective on the sport. And I got into it. And yeah, I remember watching this on TV and being like, oh my God.
I was there.
Were you?
I was there, yeah.
Lucky.
So it's funny. I just obviously had Manisa, and we were talking about like sporting event, or what you would spend money on, because we were talking Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, did you hear me? Did you hear me when I did that segment? The cheapest seats right now on StubHub, unobstructed, because you can get obstructed seats
For cheaper, yeah.
The obstructed seats are $1,282 each. If you want unobstructed, you're looking at $1,800. So anyway, long story. Yeah, what I was trying to say, back to Bautista. We said we weren't going to talk Taylor Swift. I'm just still in shock that Taylor Swift tickets cost that much.
Well,
if you want to,
gotta
on the secondary market.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Anyways.
So I was at that game. So I was living in Kelowna that summer. I was working, but like they were good. Like the Blue Jays were good.
Yeah.
And I knew I was coming back. I was taking a new job in September in Hamilton here. So I had bought like this mini pack of tickets that gave you priority tickets for the playoffs.
Nice.
Yeah. And so that was one of the games that I was at. I was like 500, like 4 rows from the top. But it was just that 7th inning was crazy because there was a beer that was thrown down and hit a baby.
Yeah.
Right. And it ended with the bat flip. And it was just like, those are one of those moments that,
Yeah, I had my Twitter header for the longest time after that series was like that shot of Donaldson like diving to get the walk-off home run or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, getting home.
Yeah, that was my Twitter header for the longest time after that happened.
I was also working in sports. I was working at a radio station that no longer exists, TSN Hamilton. So I actually had a media pass for the next year, which was also kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then I got into telling Manisa how that's kind of spoiled me into going to sporting events.
Yeah.
So when you're media, they like feed you and they want you to be happy, and
I've never gotten to experience that yet.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty
I feel
cool.
like that would be pretty cool.
It's the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays playoffs was great because they made the ALCS, which is like the second final, like the and there was like this reception after game 1.
Yeah.
And it was like the top notch reception of like for media. It was like shrimp, lobster, like just the fanciest the fanciest stuff. And that's why people are biased against the media.
Well,
because we get free meals.
That's where they spend all their money. Because I've heard that if you work for the Jays, you don't get paid very well. Like at Rogers Center, if you're like the home game staff that serves people and all that jazz.
The one thing, the most important thing I've learned working in sports media, they care so much about their food. There's no meal.
Like
it really for
the media.
For the media.
Okay.
For the media.
Well, that tracks. I've seen the food that comes in and out of here and how quickly it goes. I've seen it. If there's something I got to get rid of at home, I'm like, I'll bring it to work.
And that's so I've switched my shifts around, obviously, with different things. So I'm here. Like, I get like first dibs for morning live stuff.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's what great. I miss the most about that shift was all the
morning
stuff
live
that I used to get to bring home and all that.
Big plans for the weekend?
Yeah, hopefully if it doesn't rain tomorrow.
It doesn't seem like it's going to. I think fingers are crossed.
Yeah, there is going to be no rain tomorrow.
No, exactly.
Sunshine only.
Good vibes.
I went on a treadmill walk the other day and I only listened to songs that had sunshine in the title because I was like, I'm having a party. I need it to not rain. But it has rained other than 2 Saturdays. Every single Saturday this summer, and I know that because we have hosted parties every single Saturday this summer. And the only Saturday it didn't rain was the like the 3rd weekend in July, because my sister had a party, and it just like wasn't a great day though.
Yeah.
And then last weekend, the long weekend, it didn't rain, but it was like only like 18 degrees. So it was like, okay, well.
And I've had this conversation with that because I'm getting used to this Monday to Friday life.
Yes.
It was relatively recently, because people have been asking, it's been a really bad summer for weather.
And objectively, no, it hasn't.
But objectively, no, it hasn't. But also, like, I got really spoiled with like when my days off were during the week, like really nice, like Monday, Tuesdays, 25 and sunny, and I got to do whatever I wanted. So like when people are like, "Oh yeah, I guess it has been raining."
Yeah.
I heard your mom's going nuts for this party though.
A little bit. I don't want to. What if she listens to
okay, sorry.
No, my mom just is very anxious when she hosts people. She likes to make sure everything's perfect, and none of us have adopted that anxious party hosting from her. So like between me and my two sisters and my dad, we're like, can you just calm down? Like, it's okay. Everything's going to work out. Like, we have everything. Everything's clean. Like,
would you say you need to calm down? You said you weren't going to do it, but you did it anyway.
No, you did it.
Okay, well, you sang it. You sang the other part. Laura Seven, appreciate this as always. Good luck with your party tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, that's Laura Seven. My thanks to her for joining me. My thanks to Manisa Dana Ballin. My thanks to Kelly Botello. My thanks to everybody in the studio who put this together. My thanks to the editors for Trending Now as well. My thanks to you for listening, because we could not do the show without your support. Make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. From all of us here at CHCH, I'm Louie Butko. Hoping you have a great weekend.